Hey guys, today's story is about a person that likes to keep getting killed. Hi there. First time poster here. Sorry, but this one is a long one, but I need the catharsis. This was a few years ago, but it's still so fresh in my mind that I can still hear the crappy excuses from this player. To set the scene, in 2017 I wanted to run a 3.5 game, playing my own interpretation of the Age of Worms campaign, removing a large part of the pointless adventures and making my own, which I felt made more sense. I made this game to start off easy, and ramp up the difficulty with each level, allowing the new players to D&D, or to 3.5, to get the hang of it before I threw the major stuff at them. Like worms. Oh, so many worms. The players were all newbies from uni, except two people, H, who was a great player, and GM in several other systems. But he had never played D&D specifically, and was ready with a cool paladin of Saint Cuthbert, who had an amazing backstory. He was actually a true pleasure to have in my games. The other is L, who had played 5e before, but was into the versatility and customization options of 3.5. He had made a halfling rogue with a decent backstory, a backstory that involved a 500 GP bounty on their head. I thought that would make them play carefully. Oh, how wrong I was. In the first session, things went pretty well. People were getting the hang of the rules and which dice to roll, and were generally having fun. At one point, they had tracked some cultists into a cave near a marsh trying to save some villagers who had been kidnapped in a raid, and were ambushed near the entrance for being too loud and obvious. Which was fair enough, they were new, and it was part of the learning process. They survived, and even managed to take one of the cultists prisoner, tying them up. Because the rogue was quite injured after the battle, the paladin said to the rogue in a calm manner, "Look after this one, and if you kill them, I will be very cross." A reasonable thing in my mind from a paladin of a lawful, neutral god, and good roleplay to boot. The party left the rogue with the apparently unconscious cultist tied up, and moved on deeper into the cave to make sure there were no other major surprises so they could secure the entrance and rest, and interrogate their prisoner. Unknown to the rogue, the cultist had a hidden blade in his robe right near his hand, and with some sneaky checks, he got it out and cut himself free. They stabbed the rogue, wounding them, and then ran for their life. At the same time, the rest of the party came across a cleric making flesh sacrifices to an evil altar, and summoning a quasit to fight them. The party took care of the cleric very quickly with a nice nat 20, and then moved on to the quasit, which was a little bit of trouble because of its DR. While this was happening, the rogue was moving towards the sound of fighting, which I thought was a good thing. Unknown to me, the player was about to do something very, very stupid. The paladin went down to just below 0 HP, and the wizard and ranger dragged them out. While the scout and druid finished off the quasit, the rogue sneaked up on the unconscious paladin and tried to coup de grace them. We were all dumbfounded to say the least. Failing to kill the paladin on the first hit, L decided to go ahead and try again, succeeding on the second hit. Of course, I was extremely annoyed. The rest of the party took down the rogue, and back in town, turned them over to the constabulary, who worshipped Saint Cuthbert. Let's just say, the party got an extra 500 gold for their trouble. Little did I know that this would start a rampage of stupidity from L. Character after character, session after session, I was forced to waste time trying to make this person have a new character introduction to the game. We talked to them out of game, and mentioned during the game when they were doing extra stupid stuff that would lead to death. But they didn't listen. Which I wouldn't be writing this if they did actually listen. After a month of this, hoping that they would have a character last longer than a session and a half, which was about average, I was stressed. The others were thinking of leaving to get away from this person, and they all could say,
"It's part of my backstory,"
every time they did something dumb that killed them. The last straw came when the party was in a labyrinth of Vecna, which was obviously magical. The party got attacked from behind a few times, only to turn around and see a dead end, or an empty hall with no turns or anything there. Clearly there were secret doors that the worshippers could manipulate. Elle, who was playing a dwarf monk, 8th or 9th character at this point, who decided to go off on their own, telling no one, and purposefully making noise, claiming,
"It's my backstory,"
which they never sent at this point. While the rest of the party was practically yelling at them not to be an idiot, naturally they got killed with 4 sneak attacks, one being a crit, which killed them outright. And I was done at this point. I would mention again we talked to them about this after every session, telling them not to do things like this. I messaged them the next day and basically told them that they were on probation, and their next character will be their last, and if they die, then they would have to be asked to leave, as it's not fair to the other players to spend so much time on this crap. While they were shunted to the side, I felt I was fair, and this was confirmed by everyone else I showed my messages to. They flipped out and called me a rather colorful range of things, including a transphobe, which they were transitioning, which is fine, but it was never brought up because it wasn't any sort of issue. And then they rage quit. I hate to say this, but the next session was quite literally one of the best I have ever had as a DM. I've cut this down as much as I could, but it is still a long story. Feel free to make up your own mind on this, but I'm just done with players like this. This person's many stupid deaths are still used as cautionary tales. Do not be dumb in game. Well guys, I have to really think that there's some stuff that we're just not getting told. The OP even admitted they cut out a lot of things. So I feel like there was a lot of things that were not included here. But with what has been said on the story, then I guess the only thing I can really think of to say is this person really should have learned not to split the party, which you would hope that they would realize after their 3rd death at least.
But in any case, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have a story that you'd like me to narrate, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a good one.